The second chapter of the first class fitness course is going to discuss how the shape and position of the liver impacts the shape and functionality of the diaphragm, more specifically our thoracic diaphragm. We also have a pelvic diaphragm, which is also commonly known as the pelvic floor, but we'll talk about that in a later chapter. With the thoracic diaphragm, we technically have a right hemidiaphragm and a left hemidiaphragm. Hemi means half. With the diaphragm, it is the primary muscle for respiration in our body. Upon inhalation, the diaphragm contracts and flattens. This contraction creates a vacuum-like effect which pulls air into the lungs. Upon exhalation, the diaphragm lengthens and creates a dome-like shape, and air is forced out of the lungs. This video will show you what I mean. Our liver is under the diaphragm. Because it occupies a lot more space on the right side of our internal orientation, it causes our right to be more domed. The asymmetry of the liver doesn't provide the left hemidiaphragm the same position, which creates a more flat state. This flatter position of the left hemidiaphragm is also complemented by the heart that is positioned on top of it. Here is a list that highlights all the differences between the right and left hemidiaphragms. Pause the video if you need. Remember, when the diaphragm is domed, this reflects a lengthened position. When the diaphragm is flat, this means it's in more of a shortened position. To add another layer on, the diaphragms are a part of polyarticular chains of muscle. These polyarticular chains of muscle are just fancy words for muscle that span across multiple bones in the body. These diagrams reflect the connection our diaphragm has with different chains of muscle, such as the anterior-interior chain and brachial chain. When we have dysfunction with how well our diaphragms can move from a shortened to a lengthened state, this is where a lot of issues arise because the other muscles that are attached to the diaphragm are implicated. We will go into a lot more detail about what these issues are in the following chapters, but for now, we're going to talk about the other asymmetries within our body that create this bias towards the right side. If you found value in this chapter, or you can at least take the first step to finally breaking down the root cause of your pain, there's someone else that would feel the same way too. For the 2 seconds it takes to show this to a friend or family in exchange for the years it took me to make this as clean and efficient as it was, this is the best way to give back within this community. And it would mean the absolute world to me because everyone deserves to know this about their own body. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next chapter.